Right, welcome everyone and good afternoon and thanks for being here. Obviously you'd be aware that earlier this morning the club announced a new leadership group for 2023. Captain Alex Pearce, and you'll hear from Alex and have an opportunity for questions in just a moment, but also Andy Brayshaw, Caleb Sarong as vice captains, and also Sam Switkowski, Jager O'Meara and Hayden Young, rounding out a leadership group that, in the words of Justin when he addressed the players and football department staff, shows a real diversity of age, experience, personality and positionally on the ground. So we think it's a great mix who'll be able to lead our team in 2023, and we feel that our leadership is in really strong hands. It's worth noting that, in particular with Alex and also Caleb and Andy, that everyone who was eligible to vote had those three on their ballot, which is an overwhelming endorsement of their leadership credentials and indeed their personality and character as well. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce and congratulate Alex. It's a great honour for me to do that as our 10th club captain, and as was pointed out to me on the walk down here, the 3rd Fremantle club captain in the men's program, who is from Tasmania, which is a nice little side note as well. So congratulations, Alex, and over to you.
Alex, this must feel a bit intimidating. What's your thoughts right now? How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking having everyone here, but it's pretty exciting. It's a pretty humbling feeling. I got to speak to the playing group before, and to know that you sort of have the respect of the playing group and the coaches, it's an incredibly proud and humbling feeling. And yeah, I've had a lot of support from them and from everyone since it's been announced. So I feel very good at the moment.
What do you think you bring to the job? What are your particular abilities, do you think, in terms of a captaincy?
I'd like to say that I'm authentic is the main thing. I spoke to the group about that I feel very sort of empowered to continue to be myself, and that is someone who is really driven and hardworking and is going to try and get the most out of themselves. And I hope that sort of flows on to other people, but someone who's really honest and really cares a lot about their playing group. So I think that's the main thing. If I look back when I'm done, I want to be a leader who has helped our playing group really improve and become the best version of themselves they can be, and in turn make our club and our playing group the best version of themselves they can be.
Have you reflected on the names that have gone before too? When you look at, say, Pavlich and Fife, it's quite remarkable, isn't it?
It is. Well, I've got the opportunity to play under Pavlich, Mundy, Fife. They've been huge influences on my career and on my life in many different ways. So I feel very lucky to have those people all still in my life. Obviously, Nathan to still play alongside, and I'm still quite close with David and Matthew. So I'll be utilising them and leaning on Nathan a hell of a lot to get me through this, because it's gonna have its challenges. Last year had its challenges at times. There's a bit more pressure, there's a bit more we have to do, but it's something I'm really looking forward to, and I know with the support that I've got around me, I'll be able to get through it.
What did you learn from last year, Alex, in terms of your elevation in your caretaker role, the mix of playing and leading?
Yeah, I think initially I just tried to put too much pressure on myself. Thought that I had to do too much and that everything that I did was going to impact the way we performed, and if I mucked up the pre-game speech, if I was a word out, then we were going to lose the game, and obviously that's not the case. And I think just being able to take a bit of pressure off and lean on other people when it's required, and having the leadership group announce and having the 5 guys alongside me, I feel just extremely supported, and I've just got so much trust in all those guys that they'll help me when I'm needed and be able to challenge me when I need it as well.
Where the club's at too, Alex, it's a very pivotal time in the club's history. Greatness expected. How do you feel about that, being the captain during that period?
Yeah, I feel good. I expect greatness as well. I expect greatness from myself and from my teammates, and we all expect that of each other. We had a meeting the other day where we acknowledged the external expectations and what that's going to be, and yeah, there's going to be some expectations out there. There's going to be some stories written by the media and spoken about the fans in the streets, but the expectations that we've got on each other is to get the very most out of each other and make the Fremantle family proud. And if we can do that, we'll achieve everything we want.
Alex, growing up in Tasmania and drafted Devonport, what did you know about the Fremantle Dockers prior to entering the AFL system?
I was a bit of a footy nut back in the day, so I knew enough. I'd never stepped foot in WA, so probably didn't know too much. But yeah, look, I spoke to my parents and a couple of grandparents last night, and they sort of spoke about how it is a long journey from where I've grown up and where I've come from, and even who I was as a little skinny 18-year-old kid walking through the door. So it's nice to reflect and sort of acknowledge the work that's sort of gone in and what I've been able to do. But yeah, I'll acknowledge it for a little bit and be happy and proud, and then we move on and get to work and keep improving.
You've had your challenges, obviously, with your injuries as well, and you've spoken about the mental hurdles you've overcome. But when so much is taken away from you in terms of on-field, have you been able to use that time to I guess, take some gains in other things in terms of your personal life or some balance and optimism or perception on life and football as well? Yeah, I'm a hugely different person than what I was before my first sort of major injury, and a lot of the learning that came from those experiences where I wasn't able to play was to try and find that balance in my life, in my sort of relationships, in my study, just in my general well-being, and not revolving everything around football. So that's something that I take into how I'm going to approach this. And I spoke about the potential hurdles of putting too much pressure on myself. So acknowledging that and knowing that I need to look after myself in different areas, and it's something I try and pass down to my teammates as well, to encourage them to take a step away from football at times, because it can get quite consuming. So to find that balance is key to, I think, finding the best out of yourself. And I guess the leadership group's a real change with new names and faces and a lot of youth in there as well. It's a bit of a changing of the guard. How do you sort of go about, I guess, sort of nurturing that new leadership here, and what does it sort of say to the depth of the club's leadership? Yeah, I don't like. I've heard the term changing of the guard a little bit, and I don't necessarily like it, because everyone who's in the leadership group is a product of who's come before, and I'm certainly a product of Nathan, and I know many in the leadership group have learnt a lot from him. So we'll continue that journey, and it's nice that we have some fresh faces and there's some youth and there's some ideas, I guess, in there. So we'll be able to take things in our own way a little bit, but we certainly won't be completely changing the direction we're moving in. We feel like we've been in a great spot for the last couple of years, and we've really been building. So we're just going to continue on that journey to look at the leadership group and see the new faces and see how far they've come in some of them such a short time, and to see the growth that all those guys have in them is hugely exciting for me, and I'm sure for everyone at the club and all the Freo fans out there, to see that what the leadership group is now and what we're going to become in the next few years, and what those players are going to become in the next few years as well. Can you tell us specifically, Alex, about the impact that Jags had as a new player at the club being voted in straight away? Yeah, obviously it's a huge honour for someone, and to be able to make an impact in just a few months. And Jags obviously had so much experience in different clubs and different roles, and he's brought a level of professionalism and just dedication to the club, which is just at the highest level there could possibly be. And he's came in with a real focus on obviously improving the group and taking some responsibility himself, which just shows the character that he is. And he's just a great bloke and gets on well with everyone as well. So it's just going to be great to have him along and to work alongside him, and help him teach us a little bit as well along the way.
What are the expectations of the playing group? How far you can go this year?
There's no limits on our expectations. I spoke before that our expectations internally will be to get the best out of ourselves, to make each other proud, to fight for everything, and to make our Freo family proud. And we want to bring a premiership, and we want to win one now. So we've spoken about that over the last couple of years. I think that's everyone's goal in AFL football, and that's certainly ours as well.
So on that, when Nat said he wasn't going to be captain anymore, he said he knew he was giving up the dream that he'd always had of being the first bloke here to hold up the cup. Is that dream now embedded into your brain as well?
I've been dreaming for years, probably decades. The dream hasn't changed. I think for the last 10 years it's been, I don't think I've had hold of the cup, but I've been sitting there with my teammates with a medal around my neck, and that's still what it is. To get there, it's not going to be me, and it's not going to be our leadership group. It's going to be all of us, not just the players, but many people in this room. And that's, you never lose sight of that and never get too, individualistic. The great thing, it'll be a great thing when it happens, and it'll be great because we'll all do it together.
What about the dream of leadership? Like, did you come into the AFL system thinking you could gain a leadership role eventually one day, or was it sort of natural progression for you?
I think I always considered myself a leader, and always enjoyed the responsibility. I didn't come in and say, I want to be captain of this club in 10 years' time. And I think last year I didn't say I want to be captain of this club next year, or a couple of months ago, I want to be captain of the club in 2 months. Over the last few years, I've sort of realised that maybe it could be my turn. Maybe the best thing for the club is for me to help take us forward. But I was always under no illusion that the playing group and the coaches decide who is best to help steer the club. And I'm as I've said, very proud and privileged to do it. But whatever the role is, that's, as I've said, the goal is to be successful and just create the best environment and the best group of blokes that we can.
Can you give us some words about being an Indigenous captain as well, and the nature of that, and how special that is to you, and the club changing the name as well for that standalone game?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a journey of my sort of heritage. Obviously, I'm a pretty pale Indigenous man, and I felt very uncomfortable in my first few years at the club, not having such a strong connection to my culture. Being from Tassie, there wasn't so much knowledge, and there wasn't that sort of connection for me. But being welcomed in from Sonny and Michael Johnson and that playing group, and seeing the connection and how much that means to those people and means to my teammates, it's really helped me in learning about my history and where I've come from, and just made me really proud of where I come from. The Tassie Indigenous history is not a very pretty one. Most of the Indigenous people in Tasmania were wiped out, but obviously not everyone. And it's great that the culture can live on. And this year in particular, I've had some involvement in designing the Indigenous jersey. My friend Carly, who's a sister of Brady Gray, my former teammate and now current coach. So that's been a really great experience, and I feel very, very proud to be a part of a club which has been at the forefront of acknowledging Indigenous Australia, and we're continuing that this year with changing our name for Indigenous Round, and it's just going to be a great moment for everyone involved at the club.
Will that be extra special when you run out that day?
Yeah, it will. The jersey is going to represent my story and a little bit of my Indigenous history, as well as Indigenous history of Fremantle. So, to wear that jersey and to run out with it, it will be special.
First up assignment, I guess, as captain tomorrow afternoon. What can we expect from, the team? Are we seeing a fully fit and firing Fremantle first up?
Yeah, I think so. There might be a couple out. We just went through the team list, but I forgot. We've been building this moment for a while. It's been a long pre-season. It's been hard. We're sick of beating up on each other. We've trained really hard, and we feel like we're in a really good spot. But you never know when you're competing against each other. So it'll be a great test to come up against some opposition, and a great stepping stone to round one, which isn't far away. So we're going to come out and bring our best and do everything we can to play our best footy.